just finished reading this fantastic novel called Ready Player One. These are my stats for this book. I actually read the Advanced Reader's Edition and I loved it. So if I ever reread books, which I rarely do, I'm sure I would love the published one even more. The book revolves a lot around 80s pop culture and video games, making it a nerd classic. Ready Player One is set a little bit in the future, in 2044. The world has gone to shit, so everyone plays this online game called Oasis. Think gamer or surrogates. It's very real, it's like you're in the game. You have visor that you can only see the online world. You have gloves that make you feel like you're actually grabbing something. This guy named Holloway invented it, and since the entire world plays it, naturally he's the richest man alive. Once he dies, in his will, he starts this contest. Whoever can find his Easter egg in the game, which is a hidden chamber or a hidden thing he coded into the game, as soon as someone finds that, the person will win the game and win his entire fortune, his entire riches. So the entire world is trying to win this contest of finding his Easter egg in the game. That's where our main character, Wade, comes in. He aspires to win the contest and gain the riches to turn his life from shit to fantastic. The antagonist of the novel, then, is an evil corporation who wants to win the rights to the game so that they can start charging users a monthly fee to play this amazing game that everyone in the world plays. And that's basically the most evil thing you can do to a free video game, which makes people's lives better and makes them be able to deal with the shit-tastic world they live in. So naturally, in this competitive contest, we're going to have a lot of epic fights, the bad guy trying to come out on top no matter what, the good guy infiltrating the bad guy's lair, all of that. Even though the book is set in the future, the person who created the contest was obsessed with 80s pop culture and old video games. The main character, Wade, has a vast knowledge of everything he needs to know to win the contest. Amazing video game skills. Pretty much has every 80s song and movie memorized by the line. One thing I loved about the book was Ernest Cline's attention to detail. Cline includes a bunch of things that I've never heard of, but he quickly explains them between two commas. Like the 1981 game of Battlezone. And he'll quickly say it's another vector graphic classic from Atari. Okay, good to know. Now I know it's a video game, even if I was totally clueless before then. He's very specific when he's talking about movies like Blade Runner, Ghostbusters, War Games, Star Wars with R2-D2, Firefly, Godzilla, Monty Python, Risky Business, Gundam, Ultraman, and then a bunch of old school video games like Pac-Man and Joust. Even if you've never heard of any of these things, which I am ashamed if you haven't at least heard of some of those, he includes information on all of them so that you don't need to have prior knowledge of any nerdy thing before you read the book, which is why non-nerds can love it. Cline includes a lot of song titles in the book as well that are supposed to go along with what's happening. You'll notice the music playing in the background of this video, it's all music that's been mentioned in Ready Player One. It's awesome if you are a nerd in reading Ready Player One, because you get excited every time Cline talks about something that you know. I watched Risky Business for the first time this past week, and in the book he makes a reference to it, and I'm just like, oh, I know what he's talking about, I know what he's talking about. Very nerd-friendly book, and also a very non-nerd-friendly book. It's suitable for everybody, anyone of any age can read it. Ready Player One is very action-oriented, but there's some romance in it for you soft parts out there. Wade, the hero, has a love interest, just like every great hero. And he has the token best friend who's good for comic relief. I won't spoil the ending for you, but basically when I finished reading, I felt very satisfied with the book as a whole. There was plenty of build-up to the final epic battle. There was plenty of suspense where I had to keep turning the pages, couldn't stop reading. There was the right amount of comedy and seriousness for certain parts. The only thing that irked me while I was reading Ready Player One Like I said, Cline has great attention to detail, but sometimes he would use his characters to explain what's happening in a situation. I know it's necessary for storytelling, but characters would feel a little bit out of character when they did that. For example, there's a Japanese character in the book. In the beginning, Cline keeps his dialogue. You could tell he's Japanese. They talk about honor and they include a couple Japanese words every now and then. But by the end, when they're trying to explain what's happening, he just totally switches to this perfect English. It's like, well, you weren't talking like that earlier. But that's so minor. Overall, Ready Player One, very cool book. The quest, the action, a little bit of a love story, Wade's character as a whole, everything he goes through during the course of the contest, all the comedy, and the right amount of seriousness. Very good mix in a book. If you liked action-packed books with a little bit of romance where the good guy is versus the bad guy, then you will enjoy Ready Player One. That's about all I have for now. I'm out!